In the area of education, Maps for Kids, our statement, our $700 million statement that education is important, is drawing national attention for both its creativity and its commitment to the future of this city. For the third year in a row, we've been named as one of America's best communities for young people. This past year, Maps for Kids won another national award, being honored by the U.S. Conference of Mayors. We are creating a city where people realize that you must invest in your community, and there may be no better example of our community's willingness to investing in itself than our ever-increasing support for public education. Now, I'm sure you are very much aware of the recent issue between the Oklahoma City Public School Board and the superintendent. And as we witnessed, that issue had the potential to split this city apart. And I suspect that in some cities that would have occurred. But my sense is that after this was fully discussed and ultimately resolved, this community emerged more intent, more united than ever in the greater goal of creating a better inner-city school system. And in retrospect, that issue could create any positive energy is remarkable. But it illustrates what a lot of us already knew, and that is that we have some great patrons, some great pastors, and other community leaders throughout this city, and together we will continue to improve our schools and better the lives of our children. In a sense, this past year, our inner-city school system passed a milestone in proving it had restored a level of citizen confidence that's been missing for a generation. In October, voters approved a bond issue of almost $250 million, money that will be used for new classrooms, new gymnasiums, new buses, new technology. But it also represents a new way of thinking for the voters in the district. They're realizing that quality education requires continued funding. Schools are not something that you fund once in a while. And it's not just the Oklahoma City School District that we should be proud of or that we need to be concerned about, because there are 24 school districts that are serving kids that live in Oklahoma City, and for many, 2007 was a really good year. Let me give you an example. In February, voters in South Oklahoma City helped pass a bond issue for the Moore School District. In March, voters in Putnam City, Western Heights, and Hara school districts all passed bond issues for education. In April, the voters in Mustang and Piedmont passed school bond issues. In May, Mid-Del passed a bond issue. Last month, Edmond and Norman did the same thing. And 2008's off to a good start. 2 weeks ago, voters in Union City passed their bond issues. We know that to create a city where people want to live, you must create jobs, and we know that job creators demand an educated workforce. And as much as any year since we passed Maps for Kids in 2001, 2007 was the year we validated our commitment to public education. And as I said, 2008 may be the year that our unified effort toward the goal of a world-class education for our children grows even stronger, and we need to ensure that it is. Meanwhile, we are in a transition from a sprawling community in which life revolves around the automobile to a community with more density and a community that is more pedestrian-friendly. And in that October school bond issue that I mentioned, voters approved the construction of new gymnasiums in all 47 of our inner-city elementary schools. Then in December, in the city's bond issue, we approved the construction of 350 miles of new sidewalks. That is taking action toward healthier lives. We're creating neighborhoods where you can live and not have to own a car. It will take time, but the future of Oklahoma City does not have to be quite so dependent upon the automobile. We will have choices and opportunities that we can make. We will have opportunities to increase our support for public transportation in this city in the years to come, and specifically we'll be implementing the fixed guideway study. We have in recent years, without question, raised the standards in this city. But though we have raised the standards, we have not set them. And while we have raised the standards in this city from a capital projects perspective and a beautification perspective, in many ways, we have not raised the standards for ourselves. And I'm speaking now about our health. As you may know, I am asking the community to really confront head-on our largest health issue, and take a stand on obesity. Let this be the year that we stop pretending that obesity is going to go away on its own. You need only look at the statistics dealing with childhood obesity to realize it's not going to go away on its own. And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to become a bigger problem if we don't do something about it. The success of our website, thiscityisgoingonadiet.com, illustrates that this city is ready to address the problem. As you know, both local and national media have been very supportive, and I am so grateful for that. I think the national media is somewhat impressed that we're a city that wants to proactively change its culture and alter what we are willing to accept and what we expect from ourselves. With an obesity rate of 25%, you can only draw the conclusion that we as a community have failed to set a high enough standard for ourselves. Now, it's not just us. You know that. This is a nationwide problem, but it is a problem that I believe this community can address and address successfully. So as you know, we've begun a significant program to try and address this problem. The effort is drawing lots of interest, and we're just a month into it. But the most interesting thing to me about the progress of this weight loss initiative is that there's the growing sense that it's going to succeed. You can feel it. And I like the fact that we're adding up the pounds that we lose, and we can monitor that success on the website. However, I caution you, don't get too caught up in the march toward 1 million pounds. We are going to get there. But in this initiative, it's not the distance we travel, it's the direction we take. We are at the beginning stages of a cultural shift from a community that, when it comes to health, expects little and accepts obesity as a way of life, to a community that expects more. We have not built this city by expecting little, and we do not have to accept less, not in our capital projects, not in our commitment to education, and certainly not in our health. So far, over 14,000 people have signed up on the website, and over 20,000 pounds have been lost. From the thousands that are taking part, I'm getting consistent positive feedback. Lives are being changed, and if you'd like to lose weight or know someone who would, this website can help you. In many ways, this community stands poised to support you like never before. We are doing this together. The web address again is thiscityisgoingonadiet.com. It's designed for us in this community, but it's open to anyone who hears about it. It will help you determine your weight loss goal. It'll help you determine your ideal weight. And if you're at your ideal weight already, it will help you maintain it. As a community, we're doing much to create a city that is more pedestrian friendly. We're trying to encourage exercise. We're looking at improved transit. We're building those 350 miles of new sidewalks. We're building those 47 new gymnasiums in the inner city grade schools. But we're really not going to get serious about obesity until we recognize it's about what we eat and it's about how much we eat. And each of us is going to have to take responsibility for our health. It's up to us. We can be like the other cities, and we can continue to have this obesity problem get larger and larger, or we can place a new priority on our health and in the process create a higher expectation for ourselves. Well, you know, and you look across the United States on a road map, you see a bunch of cities, and the thing that strikes me is we all live in cities that we didn't build. Other people built them for us. And the people that built this city, those hardy men and women that back in 1889 sacrificed everything they had for a piece of land near where a railroad track met a river in what was called Indian Territory, those people, they built a city with future generations in mind. And because of them, and because of those that followed, we have the same responsibility to continue to build this city. We have the same responsibility as them. And through the core to shore planning process this past year, we are embracing that responsibility. As you drive across I-40, you have probably noticed the dirt work that's going on there, and you're seeing what's being accomplished toward relocating the interstate several blocks to the south. ODOT is moving full speed ahead on a time frame that will complete the relocation by the year 2012. And once the interstate is relocated, the I-40 bridge that goes right through the middle of downtown will be removed, and that corridor will be replaced by a boulevard that will dramatically reshape downtown.